Offline or online, that almost 50% deep on the or depend on the recommendations of influencers, and that 71% recommend the brand to their friends and family if they like the brand. And this is also backed up by a lot of research that you can found in the web. Here, just one example where Hutscher analyzed the users of the mini Facebook page, and he found out that people that gave a like or that are following the page have a higher brand awareness, of course. So they are up to date what the brand brings out. They know the brand picture. They know the communication, the brand, the characteristics of the brand, and so on. And they are talking positively about the brand more. They are more likely to talk positive about the brand to others. And at the same time, with this brand commitment, there's a direct relationship to purchase intention, which is positively influenced by, of course, the brand commitment and also the brand awareness. So, meaning people on following a Facebook page are good for a company because they know the brand better and they are more likely to buy something from the brand. However, we must be careful, because if the brand communicates too much non-related or not fitting content to their audience, there will be some annoyance, and this annoyance has a negative effect on the brand commitment and the word of mouth of the users towards, for example, others. So we know there are many opportunities. Social media are an important channel and positively influences customers in their customer journey. So now the question is, what can you do with social media? Is it just that you put your products on the social web and let people talk about them? Is it only that you have to open up a Facebook or another page on another platform to attract people so that they will buy more? Or is there more? How can you use it? And that is what I would like to have a closer look with you on today. So when we speak about social CRM, we have actually different roles and stakeholders. On the one side, we have, of course, the users. And the users can be potential buyers, but also just followers that never bought a product from you. It can be your actual customers that own a product, but it can be also experts speaking relevant things for your company. Of course, there are also the competitors in the social web and sharing their opinions. And of course, we should never forget that also the employees of a company are using the social web. And maybe not only as employees of the companies, but also as normal people and sharing their ideas. And on the other side, we have CRM with corporations of marketing, sales, and service. And what can we use social media now for bridging these two areas? The main thing is that the key point is that first we can use it for building up a presence. So, for example, in the tourism industry, we can inform about our product, about the hotel, about the rooms, about what you can do there, why it's good to come there, so we can shape public image. By doing that, we do another important thing. We give people an identity they can use in their communication, so they can refer to the company using a hashtag or just referring to one of their platforms, which makes it easier to see where people are talking about the company and what are important platforms. And last but not least, we can of course use it as a contact point. So if someone has a question, we can, for example, use Facebook or WhatsApp to interact with us. Then, in the second area, we can use it as workflow support. So we can use social media in CRM processes, for example, marketing campaigns. We can use it as a source for opinions for the product management, or we can use it for omni-channel management. Here you have an example from one hotel. It was Marriott. they offer, for example, on Facebook, there's this room and everything is new, you can book it now. And you have here an option that the user can say yes. And if there is any discount, please inform me what they produce and what we could use with what they produce. So here are some of the key types of user-generated content that are produced by users. So they produce feedback, they may ask questions, they may share their experience, they may share their opinion about specific things, and they may give, for example, recommendations. There are more, but these are the frequently mentioned things that the users do, which is relevant for a company. And on the other side, we have CRM with this different areas and then specific processes. So the campaign management, lead management, and so on, which support this customer life cycle. And yeah, CRM is actually the starting point. There we have established processes, we have experienced staff that really knows how to run a campaign, how to develop a lead, how to handle service requests, and so on. So there are the people with the knowledge. And the problem is what you see, this big blue area, which is not filled. And this is something you still see very often in practice, in reality, that you have CRM and maybe a social media manager that takes a little bit care of what happens here, but there is no integration between the two worlds. And important is when you start to build up that integration, that you're not just focusing on social media, but that the goals and KPIs of your CRM should guide this adoption. So social media, as Altimeter said, is just a new channel. It's not something totally new. So if it's a new channel, it should be incorporated in the CRM strategy and support the goals and can be measured with the KPIs of CRM.
You're saying is we're collecting data from social platforms such as YouTube platforms, and we manually connecting the data after we cleansing and put into our CRM system in a company. That is difficult task, but anyway, what we are doing now, those kind of the processing, interprocessing, actually not automatic process, but the manual processing.
Yeah.
And now this kind of a project, you are trying to a company to get together traditional database system and then social platform systems. So slowly making changing to the semi automated and then finally automated, but it's very difficult, right?
Yeah. And this is also what we will see till the end of the lecture, what is already possible and what not. So to give a quick outlook, I would say most of the small companies are, at least in Germany, I'm not sure how South Korea, but in Germany, most of the small companies are still here. They have someone already dedicated to social media because it's important, but the organization, the CRM, or as we said, the ERP, is only connected to manual transfers of data, of information sometimes, and knowledge. So there is no electronic transfer. However, large companies already apply these tools. And over the last years, they applied a lot of different tools, but the tool providers themselves integrated more and more functionalities. And now there are also some, let's say, integrated holistic CRM systems that support not each one, but most of the requirements that I just mentioned. So you can activate own platforms just by a click. You can identify in your in the action processes what is important, what is not important, how important is maybe this profile that asks you something. Is it an important influencer? Is it just a normal user with 3 friends? So that you can use social media in a really easy way, and there's no manual transfer, which may cost time and which may also cause confusion because maybe not all information is transferred and so on. So, and that is the direction we are going. And I think in the near future, we will not do that only by information that we get from text, but more and more really by also electronical analyzing videos, audios, and making sense also of this. What's going on, but also to do something with this understanding and communicate back in the web. That's I think is important. And when we think back about the requirements, we can look at existing tools, and I will first go to the tools, and then we can maybe have a closer look on the functionalities they provide. So we need functionalities in these 5 areas and existing tools. So if you do not want to do everything by yourself to programming, existing tools can be roughly categorized in, I think, 7 different categories. We analyzed a lot of tools. So we did an analysis of some years ago, I think 200 to 400 tools, and then we stopped because there are just too many. And we tried to find like patterns, categories for functionalities and so on. And one category is the type of tool that you can apply. There are these very simple social search tools, which help you based on a keyword search to search really many platforms. So you just mentioned Netflix, YouTube. There are a lot of major platforms, but as Reinhold also said in the last lecture, the social media sphere is really huge, and there are platforms for like every interest. There's so many blogs, there are so many specific platforms. So these tools help you to identify where people may talk about relevant topics, which platforms are more relevant and which are less relevant. But it's based on metadata. Then you have this well-known, I think, or very famous social media monitoring tools. These tools help you do the same. They help you to see where people share relevant content based, again, most of the cases by keyword-based filtering, but they give you further insights. So they analyze for you the text and identify, for example, if it's more positive, negative, to give you an indication if, on which platforms people are talking in which way, for example, about your services. They support each other. They all help you to build up reputation, to build up interactions with your customers. You can learn from these interactions, and you can improve your service and extend your service system across all these channels. And how do they do that? Also, they, in this case, they were very early, they were very successful, but there was no tool available that fitted all their demands. So they applied different tools and built also themselves some tools to integrate the tools, because there's still in the market not a full integrated social CRM available that supports you in analytics, interactions, and management. So they enabled their people, their employees, to use social media by giving them a class, teaching them what to do, giving them guidelines, and then giving them the opportunity to use a set of tools. So they had, I think, more than 50 tools that were allowed by the company to use, and employees could just pick the tool they wanted. And if it turned out the tool has really helpful functionalities, they thought about how can we integrate it with the other tools so that you do not have to do it manually, but can do it in an electronic way. And a final or intermediary result was that he created this so-called listening center. It is like the hub where all this information from social media comes together, and from there is shared to different tools that are used by the employees in the companies. And we are not only speaking here about people with social CRM skills. We are really speaking about each employee. Each employee can use social media. Of course, they can only communicate if they got this this training. So it makes the company makes sure that people behave in the right way and communicate in the right way. But what they can do is, through this listening center,